welcome back to Asia Star Challenges Invitational on the VCS English stream. My name is Yowei, and with me is still Marby. I subbed in for Milky, and we're here for the third series of the day. Of course, we just witnessed T1 Academy, win 2-0 in a very, very bloody series. And now we have our last qualification match, I believe, with CFO taking on BLG.J. So an LDL team. Sorry?
BLG Junior.
Right. Junior, not young. And we're right into draft.
Never mind.
Okay. That moved very quickly. We have some history in this best of three because these two teams faced off against each other in the first round. This is Swiss, of course, Swiss group stage kind of draw. So the two losers now in the qualification match, last chance match, you could also call it. So CFO won the first series 2-0 against BLG, but whoever wins this series qualifies as the last team to the next stage, to the playoff stages of this tournament. So, Mami, do you think CFO is the favorites coming in here?
They do. In their first series, they pretty much out-macroed BLG pretty comfortably, and then even though game 2 was a lot closer, just heroics from Hongqiu, angles being found from Pusha. The CFO roster feels a little bit out of place here, in a similar way to say the T1 does, Esports Academy one does, in that there's a surprising amount of history on this team. So Kusha and Lan Paifeng, formerly known as Kino, have been to Worlds twice. They've been to Worlds twice on Beyond Gaming, back with Doggo, back with Minji, with Wako. They are veterans. They're here to help raise up the young bloods. Hongqiu technically has already qualified for PCS before, but he was too young to play. And Hermes and Hasu, they're showing great mechanics. And on the other side, BLG, looking a little bit more lost, but you've got Worlds veterans on the other side. It's not fair.
Yeah, and in general, the LDL is not really performing up to what the Chinese region status globally would kind of show, or what you would expect looking at China as a region, because only one LDL team has made it through so far. A huge domination from the Korean academy teams, but of course in this qualification match there are no Korean teams, so it's either a second LDL team today qualifying for the next stage, or one of the PCS teams, and CFO, as you said, with a huge veteran roster there, and Husha, of course, probably the name everyone knows best. Now, if we look at this draft, it's still Smolder time. Of course, we're on 17, not 18, so hopefully Smolder domination goes away for Worlds a little bit, but here we still have the first pick for the Smolder. It's gonna be most likely Smolder into Tristana mid lane matchup, something we haven't seen too often. I think Smolder mostly saw the Corki matchup. And then strong bot lane with the MF and paired up with a tank jungler. A little bit of a, I would say, conservative draft so far. CFO looks like strong team fighting, good setup. On the other side, BLG, much more Chinese draft with a lot of aggression coming in with the Renekton and the Tristana. And of course, Brand, especially early on into Sejuani, very, very strong jungle matchup.
The brand, the Zyra, those sort of things look to be Junhao's bread and butter. They like to have that carry presence from the jungle. So I think we're going to sort of see, it makes CFO's job a little bit easier because they get to just throw the attention at the bot lane, throw out some of those bans. Braum being taken away from on the side of BLG makes CFO a little bit happy because Braum would do quite a lot into what CFO's shown so far. But Varus taken away. What else comes out? Ash is already gone. Probably ban something like Yezreal. Not quite sure what you ban from here. Zeri?
Yeah, just a quick note for people who've just turned in maybe. The Aurora, of course, is enabled on this patch. This whole tournament we have seen a few Auroras already, and hopefully next week in the playoff stages she's gonna be present as well. Very interesting champion to watch because it's the newest one. And yeah, of course, here she is banned. 2 ADC bans, as you predict, but not the Ezreal, so that could be an option. Tristana bot lane is something we really don't see anymore, so I don't really expect her to go into the bot lane here. So last pick ADC seems to be what BLG is preparing on their side.
Yeah, the Leona would, in my opinion, have made the most sense because you can just drop Solar Flare on Bullet Time Head if you're not using a reveal hand. And now it's going to be a pickup for the side of Line Fang. And then sort of, yes, Hasu has to sort of, well, he doesn't even have to blind pick. They know it's a Renekton. What does he want to play into? He could play the Camille. He's played that before. Look, and that will help you lock down things like the Tristana. You can just run Cassante if you feel like it. But that doesn't feel right. I'm not 100% sure. It probably will just be a Cassante. That's how life normally goes, but...
Yep.
Yep.
I think we all saw it coming.
I was hoping for the Camille.
I mean, they do have two very strong carries. It's a bit AD heavy, this composition, but on the other hand, AD heavy compositions usually don't really suffer too much because it's not that easy to itemize against penetration, especially if you don't have a super hyper tank on your side. Ezreal, yeah, it seems like Marby has the whole draft unlocked. That's a very obvious Ezreal, and you have to kind of wonder why they didn't ban it away, because yeah, we called for the Ezreal ban. Okay, Jhin is very strong too, unfortunately. Very, very sad state of the game when Jhin is a strong champion. But Ezreal, of course, coming in here, and now I feel like BLG's composition seems a little more what I've seen in the higher level play. I'm not sure if that's a good or a bad thing, because you have to perform like the higher level teams to execute this kind of composition. But just thinking about the meta and 14-16 around the globe, I feel like I've seen more similar compositions to BLG's than I've seen to CFO's here.
I think you can sort of see the regional difference. PCS, PCL, by extension, often sort of trend, somewhat ironically, towards more Korea than China. So, and if you're looking at like the LCK playoffs meta, it's a lot more Smolder, it's a lot more tank junglers, it's a lot more what CFO is bringing to the table. Where yeah, LDL, LPL was still rocking the brand, not so much the brand specifically, but the Zyras, the Lilias, those sort of carry AP junglers. So I think yeah, we're gonna see a little bit of clash of styles. Worked out better for CFO last time around. Not quite sure how it's going to play out this time. There's a lot of agency on the top side. You can try and play through that Renekton early, try and get Rel roaming out on the map and leave Ezreal to themselves. Or you can just attack an MF in the bot lane. She's not that well.
And if you look at these two compositions, where do you think are the strong points? Which team should try to go for early aggression? Which team? I mean, I think with the Smolder and the tank jungler, you always assume this team is going to be scaling and waiting for late game team fights. But is that the case, or do you think there should be a little bit more aggression coming from CFO as well?
Look, you've got an MF, so you want to play a little bit. You want to play a little bit aggressive early, try and make those rotations around the map. Utilize that strap passive, utilize the fact you're rushing Bloodthirster early so you can sort of extend fights a little bit longer that you shouldn't be. So I think yeah, I want to see an active Husha. I want to see an active Lung Pei Feng. Yeah, I want to see them active. I want to see them trying to get leads, trying to set up and control the objectives. Smolder's gonna be a little bit pulled back initially, but if you kind of want him involved in team fights just so he can get those stacks going. Anyway, so yeah, more fights. Keep it going. We've set a precedent here. T1 has set a precedent. Fight.
62 kills. That's gonna be hard to top, even for the LDL team. Yeah, I think if it goes 62 kills, I kind of favor the BLG side. Though, if it's even and Smolder gets the stack for free, maybe that's also favorable for their side. But I feel like if I look at Renekton, Brand, and Tristana top side especially, that's a lot of playmaking early game power compared to the Cassante. Okay, Cassante's and Sejuani together can actually do quite a bit in 2v2 matchups, but still, I think the Brand into the Sejuani especially should give them strong early game power.
And onto the Leona, able to actually proc her own aftershock, so Walking out okay is Lang Feng doesn't have to blow anything. Yeah, so they're just a bit of an early setup. Bit of poking heads into the enemy jungle. Not just
I
a little
really
bit
like
of
this
trading.
animation for the Tristana bomb. I've never seen the skin. This looks so cool.
Which skin is that?
I don't know. It has like a purple little thingy on top of the enemy. Yeah, both ADCs
I think it's
look-
Hex. Is it Hextech? I just simply don't know.
I really like these projectiles. They're really cool. This is a little bit of a crazy fist fight in the mid lane. Both mid laners down to. Oh! That's a beautiful little kill there. A little bit foolish for Honkyu not to see this flash auto attack coming. A very, very nice execution from YXL, who also had the additional damage from press the attack. That might actually have been the deciding factor there, because the press the attack was still procced, I believe. So early game kill, and what a fist fight at level 1 in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, Honkyu actually, like, I was trying to talk him up, but no, he kind of just sprints it there. But actually interesting to look at. He's gone a bit of the tech we've started to see come out on solo queue, where you go grasp, just as a sort of budget fleet footwork. This is not a good start for CFO. What happened? Are we sure this is BLG Jr.?
Did they swap in the main team?
Has BLG gone to Europe yet? I don't know, because my God, that is just such a huge early advantage.
Yeah, now the early game power of the top side is really like accelerated, or like you can really work with these two winning its solo lanes. And if we think about the jungle matchup, if Brand is there for counter gank into Husha, if Husha tries anything, for example on the flashless top laner now, and Brand is there to counter gank, that could be game over. If you get a good 2v2 kill there, maybe the enemy team overextends to try and go on top of the Renekton, it could really lead to a disaster. So the CFO has to play it very carefully. They can't overextend to try and punish those flashless solo laners either, just because of the brand power. So let's see if CFO just sits back and tries to get back into the game slowly, or if they have any sort of counterplay. We see, here's the jungler from BLG, and he wants to control the top side. Very strong focus on the top side, which I think makes a lot of sense. Not only from draft, but also 2 solo kills. So top side is a little bit of a problem.
You're already off to a flying start. Might as well try and keep it going. They're going to go on the bot side. They can't really push too much given the situation, and looks like they're just going to try and fully get started. Okay, that was close as the power shots come through, but CC is able to stop Hasu from actually finishing off the kill onto land. But let's see if the buff is there.
An easy W buff. Oh no, he goes for the kill. And why exactly on the wrong side of the map? I think he's just consigned himself to death. But he accepts his death and gives it over to Husha. Not entirely sure if I agree with that choice. He could have jumped back to his tower. The enemy mid laner had no mana left, so I feel like he should be safe. But this makes it way more exciting. He tried to go for the kill, didn't really even get close to killing Honkyu, and forces his jungler to catch the wave, which should actually give Junhao a decent advantage in terms of experience later on in the game.
Yeah, absolutely gonna be the beneficiary of that in some respects, as it's just gonna be all about this jungle tracking. It's a full pickaxe on the top side for Lamb right now, so he has to be a little bit more careful. Can't be quite as aggressive, but to be fair, he's the one being aggressive upon. He's still trading up quite well at this stage in time, but just changes there.
That was a 227 heal with Carbonique at level 5. That's quite extreme.
Yeah, it's looking like a bit of a rush thornmail situation from Hasu right now. It's not looking fun, especially because you're gonna see the Blade of the Ruin King coming out from YXL. It's just gonna be a pretty valuable purchase to have. So let's get on that, mate. You kind of need it. You can't really fight for pressure with the Iceborne, so.
What are we doing with this level 6 Tristana now? Are they going to try and attack Smolder yet again? Honkyu does have his flash, so it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, but still, they are searching for some sort of angle. No flash on Tristana still, so maybe CFO can even bait them into overextending here. And there's a lane swap with Lamb going into the bot lane now. That gives BLG a really, really good advantage with the top lane swap. Top lane, of course, with a lot of pushing advantage, and they get 3 grubs early on in the game without being punished.
Yeah, grubs traded out for that early dragon. That's pretty much how the play is going to go. But this pushing power is going to mean some good damage onto the top side. Hermes is trying to build up a sort of a slow push into Lamb, but it's Renekton. Renekton can pretty comfortably clear away. There's not any chance to set up a dive, so it's just going to be lots of plates traded out, and there's still such a big wave there. They can keep Hasu out for ages. And it's just going to look a little bit... It's just going to be quite rough for this Cassante. He has had no chance. He has had no time to play League of Legends right now.
Yeah, I feel like there was a little bit of a missed opportunity there for BLG. In this case, when there's a level 5 Cassandri with barely any items, just ignore him and hit the tower. You still have 3 grubs, so I feel like you get at least 1 more plate there. Soften up the tower a little bit more. Next push, you might rotate the Tristana with her E over and just get the first tower immediately. So maybe a little bit too focused on killing the poor Cassante again, but in the end, still a huge, huge advantage for BLG in terms of all their macro achievements here in the last minute. Got a lot of plates, got a really strong lane swap going, and yeah, they are looking at a 2k gold lead at 7 minutes.
Yeah, that said, Hasu is level 5 to Lamb's level 7. It is just... It was all about keeping that experience advantage away from the Cassante, and in a sense that could be worth more than the extra plate gold, but accelerating your Ezreal is never a bad idea. I'm gonna see some movement up into the top side now. Just the 2 teams as the mid lane, both jungles are approaching. I don't think this should amount to much as both are on vision. So there's a lot of posturing, but not a lot of nothing going on.
Yeah, the bot lanes can't really look for too much action here. Usually Leona MF level 6, of course, a huge point of aggression. There's a lot of damage potential, especially if you manage to lock down someone inside the MF ultimate, but looks like they're both playing it quite defensively in the top lane. Nothing really happening there, but we see YXL still permanently putting the pressure onto the Smolder, and you can see Smolder is really struggling after the early solo kill in this mid lane. His CS looked pretty good, but he's constantly low on mana, low on HP, and his tower is starting to suffer too.
He's just not able to match the pressure of the Tristana, and that's just how it's just begun. That's how you match it. You bring a pig.
YXL really does not know his W, I feel like. It's 2 kills in the mid lane against Tristana that looked like they were against, I don't know, a Caitlyn or something. She just sat still and died without even trying to buffer. I'm a little bit confused as to what YXL is doing or why he's not pressing his W.
So, but I think that is a little bit of just reaction time, be it Sejuani coming out over the wall from Fog of War. It's a little bit, just need to react a bit faster to that. Didn't happen. Dies. That's how it is. The first one was significantly more egregious. But yeah, I mean, Smolder's slowly scaling up, trying to got them defensive boots, trying to build towards that. I assume that's Spirit Shuriken. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's what they were. But I think I don't know. I've seen Triforce. I've seen Shuriken Rush. I don't know anymore. But Honkyu, he's still farming quite well. He's getting pretty comfortably. With that kill, he should be back to parity with YXL, and this 1,000 gold, 1.5 gold lead, gold lead. It's all on the Renekton. So if you can get a 4v4 goal, and if you can fight away from the croc, which you can't do here because that's a croc,
Yeah, this is really well done from BLG, using the advantage instantly to secure something that's going to pay off for the rest of the game. 6 grubs, such strong, especially cycling mid tower, but also just execution power. If you go 5 members into mid tower, for example, later on in the game, this could really make the difference between not quite being able to finish the game. Oh, there's a huge attack on the Tristana, but it's risky. They're getting lower and lower. Now Husha is here, nice ultimate, and finally they secure the kill. 1 kill back against the 6 grubs, which is a decent payoff, I guess, for CFO, because they had no chance of fighting against the grubs anyway, but still 6 grubs to BLG's name. If they play the next few minutes correctly, they should be able to crack some towers and secure a huge domination over this map.
Yeah, someone was close enough to get that plate gold as well, which is just a little bit of an extra bonus, but yeah, doing their best, trying to cross map, trying to punish the sort of teleport from YXL to who was trying to protect the tower. Saves the tower, but at the cost of his own life. And now the dragon is up, going to be quickly taken off the board, as BLG do just have the run of the map right now. CFO a little bit behind to everything. The Zeke's coming out on the side of Fuchsia. It's a little bit of an interesting choice compared to the pretty standard Locket these days. As again, Hasu's not allowed to play Legends.
Yeah, this is such an easy kill without his ultimate, and now bot lane tower, Tristana and 6 grubs. That should be his tower secured. Really nice bounce back from BLG on the bot side, and just a little bit of an overextension from Hasu, I have to say, because you should be able to anticipate this happening, especially after the global announcement of the dragon falling. Pretty likely that the enemy team is strong on bot side. This is the Renekton with ultimate. This is not easy to dive, and they're trying it anyway. One man persona.
They didn't even need the MF at all. The ultimate just not even getting an assist for her walk up, but again, and that opens up a little bit of an opportunity as Xiaoxia is here. Will they find a back to interrupt? No. Will they find some molder to go on? No. So just walking around, having a bit of how you doing? And yeah, it's CFO are trying to find plays across the map. They're finding good responses, but because BLG was able to pick up those 6 grubs, the responses from them are just, they're always going to be eking out a little bit more in the cross-map trades. So we're really looking for, if you're CFO, you're really looking for the team fight to come on through. We're not quite not sure how many stacks Honku are on yet. He's on. He's probably still
he should be on 125 at least. So his second evolution should be there. Okay, there comes another attack. Hey, he found his W! YXL, good job.
Found his flash!
He walked back into the W.
Oh,
he really tried to kill himself there, but a nice counter-attack from BLG. This is a kill for Brand, and can they dive? Not quite.
Hasu was tried to teleport in to assist, but had it cancelled by Lamb, which really allowed for that run down from BLG. So good plays from BLG. They're keeping it up. They're stopping all of it. Nice little interrupt on the slice and dice, but doesn't really amount to much. And it's free Rift Herald for the Brand because there's no Smolder. Sejuani got pushed away. It's just incremental advantages for BLG. Time and time again, they have had a huge glow up since their first year.
They are really starting to dominate this map now in the mid game, which makes sense because all the early game advantages are finally actually paying off into tower pushes and so on. This Rift Herald should make mid lane tower really easy now. I would like to see them try to spread out a little bit more, use their advantages in the solo lanes, though I'm not entirely sure if YXL is actually stronger than Honku right now, but try to use the 6 grubs on as many lanes as possible. Let's see how they play it. They have finally invested a little bit of money on the map with their vision again. When I looked at the map like 1-2 minutes ago, there was not a single ward from BLG on the map, so finally they sat down and actually put some safety down for themselves, and they should be able to push into the enemy territory a little bit more safely now.
Yeah, just got this mid lane position. They probably want to try and save the Rift Herald possibly for this closer to the dragon spawn to try and have that force pressure. You can even drop a bot and try and push and try and get a charge towards the inner tower if you really wanted, but or not. Never mind. Make a liar out of me, John. Now why not? Sure.
I actually like it because if you use it for dragon, it's very close. Oh, but the counter attack there, and Lamb goes really low. Then you use its ultimate to get some HP back. Now 1-for-1 so far, but the Ezreal is chasing. Is pretty strong at this point. Unfortunately, can't really jump into the MF and the Smolder, so it's just a 1-for-1, but look at the side lanes. They got the tower. Tristana is gonna have some alone time with the tower, it looks like. A little bit reluctant to go there. Could have had a few more seconds, but still gets the full explosion, so that's like a fifth of the tower's health gone. Really successful play for BLG. Could have been a little cleaner, but in the end, still 5k gold lead now at 60 minutes.
Yeah, Lamb a solid like 100 health from death there before he managed to get the alt Q off, but so a little bit more damage. That executionist caller has now come through, so that should make it a little bit easier as collapse on the enemies. Nope, just the bluff from Jasha, and we're seeing CFO at least try a few punchbacks there. Still waiting and scaling. The damage is just going to get better and better for them for sure. But right now they're just struggling to find avenues for gold. But he's ASCI once again sort of pushed up a bit. Might find a croc in his face. Nope.
Unfortunately, they're really far behind in items right now. If you look at the carries especially, because all the kills have gone to Husha, and they're 5k gold down as a team. The carries are even more gold down compared to their counterparts. If you look at Ezreal, 7.5k gold, 1k gold, just individual lead. The mid lane is not quite as extreme, it's only 700, but still, these advantages add up, and top lane, of course, is a huge disparity. Yeah, if you look at the items, there's 2 items done for Tristana, even though she died multiple times. Yeah, once again, they tried to kill Lamb, but Lamb is just a little too tanky, it's a little too mobile. They get another tower, and they will try to chase down Hasu, but he walks away. Still, the tower is down, even more control on the bot side of the map, which opens up Dragon and makes for another win condition later on in the game. So I really like how they've played this mid game from BLG's side.
Yeah, they played it nice and calm, collected, moved comfortably towards objectives, knowing where their power is and played around it. Lamb's feeling the highs of the mid game renekton right now. Once that Mortal Reminder is completed, I think it will remind Lamb that he is in fact mortal, because he has been close to death so many times, but just that little bit of armor has been doing so much to help him survive the attacks from Hermes so far. And then we can still look at Smolder. Smolder's still scaling up. There's always that opportunity. Not long now for that break point.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you look at the mid game, it really looks very promising for BLG, but all of this could collapse with one huge throw. If you think about like 5 minutes in the future, they had a 5k gold lead, and they approach Baron or something, and then throw at Baron. Suddenly the enemy team gets back into the game, and we can see this sort of... We've seen this sort of scenario play out so many times where the enemy team is scaling, team fight, composition, they fall behind early, they look completely down and out in the game, but they just need one huge mistake from the enemy team. And yeah, as you said, Smolder now scaling up nicely. He's actually on over 200 stacks already, so this is actually going quite fast in terms of stacking. They're trying to look for the proactive play on the side of CFO. Very nice old combo, and that's a kill for the Smolder. And they get the Brand as well. This is a bit risky.
Oh, Also's deep in the backline, and now YXL is even deeper. And now here comes Lamb trying to make it up. The Evolve has come through for HonQ, and he is able to pick up another double. Lamb, who still wants to chase him. There are some low health bars. Can the Mystic shots land? They cannot. And it's just going to be a 2 for 2 overall, but that's some much needed goal for CFO. They finally hit the point of true damage.
Don't want to surrender this tower. This is very, very dangerous. On the edge from both teams. One overstep could have really cost either side quite a bit, but the tower stays alive. The objective count stays the same, and in that case, it's always a win for the team that's behind, especially when 3 of the kills go to the Smolder, who's suddenly 4-2. He has finished his evolution, and the late game hyper carry fantasy is well and alive.
Yeah, it's starting to come along right now, and Baron is up, and as we were saying, the Baron can be the throw, and CFO's composition, if you get stuck in a pit, they have a perfect composition to just drop on top of that sort of choke point area. And now we're starting to see Lamb not feel quite as tanky, coming through with all that true damage, with that armor penetration now complete. Gonna start to see a bit more of a fight back from CFO as they push towards the mid lane. Lots of pressure around the Baron. Starting at BLG, if they wanted to commit to it, they do a lot of damage to the Baron.
Yep.
And it's not as...
They have an insanely quick Baron with this composition. Blade, Tristana, Brand, Ezreal, perma damage on the non-moving Baron. Yeah, this could go down in a matter of like 10 seconds probably. So CFO has to be very careful, has to be very on top of their vision game, but they do have the veterans to be able to do this kind of thing. So for now, CFO is very, very content just sitting back, trying to scale up, but their support shouldn't step up this far. Yeah, I think she's down. Yep.
Just kind of took a bunch of Mystic Shot red buffs to the back, and that's a little bit rough to get away
Reminds me of
from.
the old times of Blue Ezreal. Just perma slowed until you died. So now they are going to go to the Baron, and there's no vision for CFO. They have an inkling. The enemy team walked into the top side jungle, so they're probably at Baron. Baron is at 4k, and Husha is too far away. But they try to go for the kills instead, and this is another one for Honkyu. One kill is not enough for the Baron. They need to chase down at least one more to really make this count. And Honkyu is coming. He's approaching from the side, but the Ezreal is already cleaning up everyone. This might be BLG's biggest mistake in the game. There is the Baron throw I was talking about. And he...
Yep. So there's one Baron buff left on the side of Ezreal. Baya's gonna have to try and make that work, but that's a cleanup from the side of CFO. They're able to move down, they're able to pick up the dragon as well, so this is gonna be a long game for dragons, but they should be able to pick that up. They might even be able to push in the mid lane tower if they send their 80 carries that way. This is
actually quite funny for me. I feel like I've seen this exact game play out so many times, and it's always the same. With teams that are not quite world class and not quite super good at closing out the games. They get a decent advantage, then they overstep, and suddenly the scaling team, the team fighting team, the late game team, just sits there, team fights them, and yeah, their hyper carries get to their items, and suddenly it looks almost unwinnable. The gold lead is still 7k. I'm not quite sure how that can be possible. It seems like too much after 4 kills in there, but I think Honkyu is actually the individual with the most gold, so it doesn't really matter if your Cassante is sitting on a 4k gold deficit compared to the enemy Renekton. If your Smolder is the richest person in the game, you can still win the game.
Yeah, you're definitely seeing a lot of the extra gold coming through. I guess global tower gold difference probably keeping the support inflated. Bit of gold on the top side. The jungle CS difference. I think again, but it doesn't matter. You have 3 huge frontliners that just need to stand in front of the 80 carries, and they have enough gold to sort of see it through. As we have Smolder pushing on the bot side, there's still a lot of map control for the side of BLG. It's not over by any means. They still are in a pretty decent point of power and can keep the fight going, but we're starting to hit the break point, the point where they need to kill Smolder or it's all over.
Yeah, I actually think BLG managed to recover from this huge kind of throw at the Baron very, very quickly. They immediately went back to the map and pushed down the mid inner turret, so for the time being, BLG is still in a decent position, but this has to be in the back of their minds. This Smolder that just killed all of them. Even the MF was quite strong in the last fight, and she's still scaling up. So hopefully BLG can maybe think about how they approach the next few team fights, the next Baron especially, and find a better solution than just all dying in the pit.
Yeah, definitely trying not to be clumped out, trying to find one of these picks. We see Xiaoxia and Junhao sitting over the wall, but they are just hatching a ward. Being spotted now by Lamb. It's just a lot splashing in the mid lane. Not a lot of anything to posture for specifically, but maybe...
Really good movement here from Hermes. I'm impressed. I was just keeping my eyes on his movement against the S-Refuse, and he dodged every single one of them. Very, very impressive. Of course, he has like 500 movement speed on the MF, but still, nice bouncing shoes. Not so much on his support. He's running into every S-Refuse you can see. So Lan Peifang actually has to be a little bit careful, especially once Baiyi has his red buff back, because last time he ran into the S-Refuse, he was just chased down in a matter of seconds. Another dodge. So Hermes, he's trying to get better items under his belt, but his individual play, his movement, already looking quite impressive in this game.
Other than poor Hasu, who has been beaten to death, but even then, his Cassante play has not looked particularly bad, especially in the sort of last fight with that they were able to clean up. The young blood on the side of CFO start showing up right now, being able to go under Husha's leadership. On the side of BLG, they're just outside of YXL, who has sometimes just been bullied and allowed himself to be bullied.
Indeed.
There's solid performances across the board. No one's really standing out high above the rest, but they're just playing a really solid game so far. Outside of the Baron fight, and they just need to keep it up the pressure. Wait for more objectives that you can really try and put the pain points into CFO and push on one side of the map. Try and utilize these split pushes.
There's a very interesting timer question coming up. Look at the Baron and Dragon timer. They have 55 seconds, or now 50 seconds to 55, so around 4 seconds of a delay for the Dragon compared to the Baron. We could see a trade of Dragon and Baron. CFO might actually try to go for this kind of thing. Giving up Baron here is very dangerous, because the enemy team is still very far ahead, and they could really break your inhibitor towers and even inhibitors if they get the Baron. But you might be able to trade it for soul points. I'm not sure, maybe they could think about this kind of option. The other team, BLG, is definitely not going to give up the Baron for free, so I'm very interested to see what happens in 20 seconds when the Dragon spawns and the Baron already back on the map as well.
I'm gonna see a turret probably fall anyway with the Tristana 6 grabs. Yeah, Cuss is just a little bit late to that. That's a free tower. But now they have this time.
They caught the enemy support easy one shot, and now this is not the super tanky Lamb anymore, but he gets out, and now they're trying to get on top of Bastion. E forwards, he doesn't have this E to get away. He does have his flash though, and on cue, overextended by E is here. This could be the end of the game.
It doesn't matter. Hermes able to clean up.
Hermes, you have to alt attack him.
Stop A-clicking.
Oh no, he actually A-clicked the minions there. That could have been another kill on Junhao, but in the end it's still a decent defense from the side of CFO. And yeah, BLG will probably be able to get the Dragon out of this, but in the end, that doesn't really matter too much for CFO, I believe, because they're still scaling up, they're getting stronger, especially in this team where we could see Hermes is getting to a point where he has to be thought about as well. He is dealing massive damage now.
He's got the IE, he's now picked up a Zeal so he'll be even able to attack. And took a lot of damage outside that bullet time. Hongyu needs to step back a little bit, try and just chill out a second, but overall, they're able to play this team fights pretty well. Baron, the Dragon's now off the table, now they can focus entirely on the Baron, and again, the clump in the pit instead of the mid lane. This AoE damage from the Smolder should be doing a lot more work. That was a 4v4 overall though, and we're going to have to see how it actually plays out if Hasu is there to be a bit more of an protective front line. If YXL is there providing a bit more damage for the side of BLG, how does this play out in that full 5v5? Do we get that full 5v5? We're pushing into the jungle right now.
Yeah, and BLG seems reluctant to even try to go for a 5v5, which I can understand, because the Tristana and side lane might actually just give them a little bit more to work with. Now, CFO, they say, okay, it's time to 5v5. Come at us, we are going to start the Baron. It looks like they're barely losing any HP. Now the FQs are coming in. Husha on 3/4. Baron on 6k HP, but here's the engage from the enemy BLG.
And
CFO with a much better position.
YXL on the side is able to pick up Hermes, but now he has to try and get away. He's going to. He's found the gate. It's a 1-for-1 with the jungler down. Can they continue it? They started to lock onto Lamb. He's got Babaya. Yeah, he's just hitting from the other side. You have to hit the Ezreal. He's just raining down hell. Can Hong do staff up? He can do a decent chunk of damage, but I think it's just gonna fizzle out from here. Jungle's not up for BLG, so they can't turn onto the Baron themselves. Gosh, what a mess.
These fights are so interesting because BLG, I think they're playing it really smart because they refuse to go for straight up 5v5 fights, which I think at this stage in the game, looking at the compositions, is definitely a wise choice. YXL found a really cool angle there from the other side to get on top of Hermes, who has been incredible in these team fights, but he, of course, Tristana in a 1v1 with these items into MF, especially when MF doesn't have her ultimate, that's definitely an advantage for Tristana, so nicely done, found the angle to execute the enemy ADC. And as long as CFO doesn't do anything against the Ezreal, this Ezreal is gonna hurt a lot. Or the tanks, he's hurting everyone with this item build, so they need to find a way to actually try to do something against Bai. But I like their approach to just go for the Baron, force the enemy team to fight, and they're doing it again. So here we go.
They've seen YXL on the bot side. That Tristana will not be here for fight unless they commit the teleport. They're looking for the teleport. Not coming.
They're turning, and once again the support is dead first, but that's Cassandra dead on the other side. Now Lamb is here, Lamb is trying to get in there, and there's a lot of damage coming down from BLG. Cassandra is still pushing down the Nexus. This is a 4v5, and BLG is actually doing quite well. BLG is finishing the game, and I don't think CFL can get back into their base. They're the teleports. Oh no, and Ezreal.
And they stopped the teleport. They stopped the teleport. It's oh my god.
That's beautifully done, BLG.
No way.
You need to 5v5, just saying we have the better split push setup, you have to force 5v5, and yeah, YXL didn't take the bait. He just said, okay, this Ezreal is able to just stave them off for long enough, I'm just gonna push, and BLG, what an impressive way to finish this game. Found a solution to their team fight disadvantages, you might say, even though the Ezreal actually looked like he could maybe win the teamfights alone there. BLG wins against CFO in game number 1.
Yeah, look, CFO completely fumbled the early game. Let's not mess around there. They put in a pretty solid effort to come back, but yeah, the map play from BLG actually just kind of worked out extremely well. Able to utilize that silent pressure, able to make use of those 6 scrubs early. That meant that the pushing power from the solo Tristana was just insane. And then, yeah, play kite back. Don't give them the fight. Don't let them get a Baron. Don't commit the Tristana teleport. It was actually a really bold call, but it paid out for BLG.
And with that, we are going to go into a short little break, and we'll be back with game number 2 to see if BLG can be the second LDL team to make it through to the playoffs, or if CFO can fight back for the PCS.
Tell me where do I go? Tell me where do I take us? Your heart is starting to slow. May the water be safe. As I dive in, blood stains washing underneath the waves. I'll be reaching out to keep you safe. As we fall, I can't hold on much longer. We're drifting
to game number 2 of our last series of the day. We're back with our challenges tournament, and of course, we are back into draft because there's no time here. But CFO, they lost the first game against BLG. It was a back and forth affair. Some very, very good signs from both teams, I feel like, but BLG with the better meta comp, I'd still say, and strong early game execution. So let's see what both teams choose to do for game number 2. They're back on the same sides, and last time we saw the Smolder first pick.
I'd rather be
Yeah,
home.
same bands so far as well, so I'd be surprised to see more or less the same sort of thing run out from the side from both teams. You're actually thinking a little bit, maybe they want to ban the Maokai, which makes a lot of sense. That is a very strong pick. And it's still gonna be Honky's pick, but they're gonna pick something he can actually make plays on, which, to be fair, in their last series, his Azir was a big part of the reason CFO was able to win that game too. So I think that seems fair to me. I don't necessarily know if it's first pick worthy, but they want Honky on comfort immediately.
And immediately I'm worried for YXL, because even on a champion like Tristana, that's almost ungankable if you play it correctly. He died 5 times early on in the game. Now he's on Orianna, which isn't the easiest champion to gank, but with Azir level 6, you can just flash ult him and then he's pretty much doomed. So let's see if YXL manages to play a little bit more safely, maybe not quite as crazy as in the first game where he just went all in every single time. So Tristan, we're back to a very different meta here. Orianna Vi, 2 AP mid laners.
Yeah, and Hoosh is gonna pick up the Skarner as well, so and we're gonna see Hermes gonna grab the Varus. Most of this tournament we've seen the lethality Varus.
Did we change patches?
I feel like we did. So I'm interested to see what Varus it is. Mostly we've seen lethality. And most of the ADCs I know just think on hit is goaded. We're gonna see what BLG wants to respond with the Jhin, so it's a lot of pick. It's a pretty ult-heavy team fight so far. I think they're gonna need a bit more damage into the Skarner, however.
Yep. I think they need some carry in the top lane who can actually deal consistent damage. Something like Jax, something like Gwen maybe even comes to mind. Because right now the Skarner can really be a huge tank and a huge menace into this composition, because Jhin, we all know, not the greatest tank killer, even though he's super strong right now. He can pretty much set up everything, but you want to pair the Jhin with another super strong damage dealer, and Orianna, she does deal quite a lot of damage, but not so much into tanks. So yeah, I'd like to see a top laner that deals a little bit more consistent damage. Something like the Jax could really do wonders here.
With the ball delivery system of Vi, however, I think you might be able to play a way that lets you just bypass the tanks. Gonna be hard to see. Hard to say. I'm wondering what CFO bans out. There's Rel and Leona seem to are left from the big engaged supports. I think you probably just don't ban either of them, and then you say you pick one, we take the other. Unless you want to ban Leona and then take an Alistar as a response to Rel. But I still think CFO are lacking a little bit of the sort of Rakan.
4 support bans here. A little surprising to me, I have to say. I would have focused on top lane for CFO, because, yeah, support, I mean, more engage is always nice for BLG's composition, which is very engage heavy, but still, I feel like the top lane could have been a little bit more of an important ban there. Poppy into Orianna Jhin. Okay. Also, Vi can't be stopped by Poppy. Sounds okay. It's a little bit of a weird choice, but a very much LCK meta. As you said early on, CFO and the PCL in general follows the LCK meta a lot, and we see a lot of the LCK picks from the last few days, which with Skarner back in the final, we saw Game 5 with Skarner. Poppy, of course, was played quite a bit as well, and now the Gnar. Better team fighting. This looks like a very old composition. This could have been played in like 2019.
if you remove, I mean, Skarner's obviously. I was getting 2015 vibes from the early picks, even though I know a lot of those picks are anachronistic to the time. But yeah, like, geez, this feels so. This is so weird. This is not what we're used to, for sure. Poppy still feels like a strange pick. Now I guess you get some extra bonus against the Jacks, and maybe the knockaway is what you're going for. If you see Vi go in, you can send Vi out. You can try and knock Oriana away so the ball disconnects. Those are the only things I can think of, other than just a lane counter of some description to Alistair, but to which case, I think you just go Leona. And
also, I'm really confused because the Jax was pretty obvious, miles away. I mean, it's basically the only thing you can do here. So I feel like the Jax should have been maybe prevented a little bit better, and maybe they are confident against the enemy Jax, but then again, it's a BLG Jax. Sure, it's not Bin, but if you're the understudy of Bin, you're probably a pretty decent Jax player, I'd expect. So I'm not so sure about these last few picks from CFO. I feel like they should have been able to prevent the top side carry, and they went away 2 engaged supports, but still left open the likes of Leona, Rel, Alistair. So I'm not entirely sure if that ban strategy was really the way to go here. But yeah, let's see. A CFO, I feel like, once again, with a very late game team fight heavy composition, not a lot of action early on in the game. Maybe apart from the Na early on, trying to dominate the Jax in the top lane. But what do you think of these team compositions? Who's going to win game number 2?
I think, all things even, oh God, I really don't know. Yeah, I kind of automatically want to give it to CFO because I don't like Jin, but Jin has been doing all right, and it's not like there's a actual heavy front line for them. There's a Skarner, but you can still. Na's not all that tanky. What even was the spot? Poppy's not all that tanky as from that position. So I think Jin will do more or less fine. I think it always comes down to execution, but I think BLG has the slightly easier setup, actually, to be perfectly honest. Provided the Jax isn't kept out of the fight.
Yeah, I feel like with wombo combo compositions, there's a little bit of a debate if it's actually easy to play them or if it's hard to pull off the combo, because obviously in Fantasyland and in Disneyland, you would look at CFO's composition and say, wow, look at all the potential combos we can do. We can put Husha's ultimate into Hasu, with his ultimate putting everyone into the wall, and then we have Hongq following up internally, dealing massive amounts of damage. But how easy is that to execute? And the enemy team has a pretty decent composition, but has a little bit more individual agencies, I like to call it, looking at Lamb. But we once again meet at the same spot, and Poppy is going crazy.
Poppy kind of has to, because otherwise was going to get collapsed upon, and YXL forced to flash immediately. That's gonna make them a little bit of a spicy target.
I'm so worried for YXL. Oh no.
Yeah, Hongq actually able to, on a champion that can make plays by themselves. Husha just needs to visit that lane. No flash on the Oriana. That's gonna be a very, very easy to gank Oriana. And I mean, YXL did win the game for BLG, but it wasn't through actually playing the game.
It's true. Yeah, he struggled quite a bit after his early game. A very impressive early game where he got the 1v1 kill against Hongq. Afterwards, he went 5 deaths in a row. So let's see how he does here. I think the flash is actually so early. The flash being blown is so early that it's before level 6. So hopefully he's going to be safe again once level 6 hits. And that's really where Azir and especially Skarner as well get very, very hard to evade in ganks. So hopefully he's going to be a little bit safer once that point approaches. But still an opportunity, maybe even with Lan Pei Fang going into the mid lane to try and kill him early on.
Yeah, if you just try and overload the mid lane, you can probably get him down with just the E and the from both Poppy and Skarner. But we see YXL already pushed way far back under the tower. Honq feeling much more comfortable in this lane. Not inting away first blood helps a lot, but also just a lot stronger on the Azir in these early levels.
So far, at this point in the first game, we already had 2 solo kills in the 2 solo lanes, so it's going better already for CFO, but still, Jax here into the Gnar seems to have really learned something from Bin. Maybe the best Jax player in the world. And there's the Flash Force from Gnar, so another Flash Force on the solo lane, this time on the other side, so hopefully BLG can try to force a little bit of a gank, maybe even a dive on this squishy top laner from CFO's side.
Yeah, no. There's another champion I have to sort of put my... I have to say... I don't... Oh! Good flash from...
I hate this ridiculous
to save Fire, jumping the way. If he'd hit Fire, it might have done something, but...
Why does he just walk through walls, man?
2 flashes alone. Yeah, this Gnar is so easy to kill. I really don't understand its premier position as a blind pick and so many people.
Oh, he didn't even have to flash there. Oh wow.
Okay.
No.
If you're just into thank you.
Walk of shame. Walk of shame back into his jungle.
I was just saying how easy it was to go in. You do that. Come on. Okay.
Yeah, usually you expect the Jax to use E-Flash to really secure the stun there, but he didn't even have to do that. He got the stun on the... And now the Jax is in trouble. Flash, but maybe a little too late. Yeah, I think he's going down.
Too late. Gives the kill over to the Gnar, and that's going to put them in a much better position. Now, Pusha has to sort of keep an eye out, make sure that his bot laner is safe, because they know the support's on top side. That means we're not playing it that safe, but...
It's a bit scary for the side of BLG, I think. This Skarner is quite strong. Skarner is so tanky. Yeah, they have to walk away. And once again, Junhao not very successful with his early exploits. So CFO with a much better start, already a 1k gold ahead, and that top lane backfired horribly for the side of BLG.
Yeah, the difference in gank effectiveness for sure coming on through as... Yeah, Lan Peifeng up to his tricks in the top lane, able to roam around and make this Poppy feel effective, catching a good back timing alongside Hermes. Once again, it's gonna be the Saudi Varus. It's a lot of builds that come out in this. I'm like, oh, why are you doing that? Why would you build it like this? I just don't like lethality Varus. I think they should delete it.
Oh, I like that. Hermes with a cute little move there to deny 2 CS. I love to see that when people actually invest a little bit of HP to deny CS, because yeah, he was full HP. He could definitely tank that W there from Bai Yi, and yeah, costs the enemy Jhin 2 CS, and now the wave also not thinned already. So, but yeah, you can see how easily Jhin Alistar can get rid of this wave. Not quite enough to freeze it there, I believe. Yeah, it's gonna reset mostly. So in the end, game back to a little bit of a more even state, but look at Pusha. Why is this champion always so insanely tanky? He's going to start the grab, and of course with the mid laner dominating his lane, this should be at least 2 grabs pretty easily. Junhao is here. Let's see if he can do anything.
Gonna spot it out, but looks like just gonna let it sit right now. Maybe help YXL push it out. Long Peifeng is here. Just also to make sure there's not too much shenanigans there and the grubs can be taken with relative ease. Looks like they're gonna try and make a trade onto the dragon. It's an early ocean drag. It shouldn't really inspire that much contest from the side of CFO, but it looks like they're able to respond in time, but BLG feels a little bit pressured. Does not want to sort of try and push anything.
Junhao in this game really not looking very comfortable after the strong early game on the brand, but of course much easier matchup as well. This game he just seems to be just scuttling around the map and not really accomplishing anything. His gank in top lane is a little bit of a walk of shame. But on the other occasions he has met enemy champions, the enemy jungler, he has always kind of backed out again, and he had to. So not the greatest game so far from Junpao, and Husha really showing his veterancy on this tankier champion. Very nice covering of the lanes where he had to be in bot lane to secure his bot laner, and he even forced the enemies to back off again. So I feel like Husha has dominated this early game, but of course...
Top lane, there's a gank.
Yep, and there he is again.
Yep, gonna hold him there. It'll give another kill over to the side of Hasu. Pretty cross-mapped for this dragon, which is a pretty fair trade if you're BLG, I would say, all things considered, but punishing this counter pick from Lamb just it's going quite well. There's going to be a bit more gold funneled onto Hasu, and then if they can play out these fights around the Gnar well, I'm not worried about a singular Ocean Drake. It's probably the weakest individual Drake in the game.
Yeah, actually, chat just mentioned something that seems to be wrong here on the screen. BLG won the first game, not CFO. So, yeah, it says 1-0 CFO there, but it's actually the other way around. BLG won the first game. So.
It is graphic error. Sorry about that, folks. It's all good. Where are we? Where are we now? Who's just sort of pushing towards the mid lane? We'll be watching a lot of bot lane as these graphics get fixed. We are operating on a unit count, on a worker count of 3. We do not have a lot of control of these things. So let's see. Where do we go from here?
Well, it looks like CFO is gonna win this map at least, so maybe the one wasn't too wrong there on this side. The top lane domination, it really shouldn't have happened after this start. Lamb got his free Jax, he looked super strong, he got the early flash, and now he's 0-2, enemy top laner 2-0. This is gonna put him behind quite a bit, and especially for later game split pushes, this might even give the Gnar enough of an advantage to stave off his exploits in the side lanes later on in the game too. So I feel like CFO has really secured themselves a decent position in this game. Okay, they gave up one dragon, but who cares, really? It's just an ocean drake, as you pointed out. Not the strongest drake, especially individually. I think any individual drake is not really anything you care about, and that's another top lane gank. Lamb, this time around, it seems like has it under control. He walks back to his tower, so doesn't go down a third time, but really nice early movement from Lan Peifang. I expected him to be in the mid lane a little bit more, especially after the first game from YXL, but it seems like top lane is the focus this time around.
Yeah, felt bad for Hasu in game 1 who didn't get to play, so now they're trying to make sure Lan doesn't. But a bit of damage down. The grubs are spawning fairly soon, so we're going to be waiting for those to come on through. And that's partially why Lan Peifang has made this roam up so early. And there's nobody in the bot lane right now, so...
Yeah.
Oh.
They try to fight. The Mega Gnar is running out, so he used his ultimate, but now he's only Mini Gnar. Can they kill the Poppy? That was an interesting interaction. Now this is a little bit precarious. YXL is trying to enter the fray. Lan Peifang, I think, is very much dead. But now BLG, they're trying to extend the fight. That's Mini Gnar. He has to flash away. But now Junpao is in a little bit of trouble. Another kill over to BLG. They're making the comeback into the game. That's another try.
Going 1 by 1.
Oh,
Husha.
Nicely done from
Husha's
Husha.
able to save the fight. Picks up a double.
Husha is actually still pretty scary. That's a level 8 Skarner into the Jhin. The Jhin has to flash away. Husha somehow saves the fight. He's still on the chase. Look at the Scorpion. This champion is so menacing, especially with an early advantage. That's a double kill for Husha. I'm interested if he maybe invests a little bit in some damage items. Probably not, but in the end, that's I guess they win the fight.
Damage items for Skarner is just more health, which makes his decision to purchase the Zeke's kind of a strange one for me. I think just going for a locket would provide a lot more, but in the end, none of the grubs actually went down in all that fighting. So CFO is going to walk away with 6, which means They are now the ones with the strong split push in the side lanes. And yeah, Skarner's coming in. It should have been doomed for CFO because they just sort of funneled in one at a time, and then Husha just apparently is able to slam the door shut and say, nope, no, none of that. This belongs to me. And now CFO in I mean, they're still in Italy, but it feels a little bit stronger. It feels like they now have a few more tools to extend it even further.
Yeah, I think if we look at the gold, can we have a look at the gold right now? There's a lot of gold on the Skarner, obviously. He just secured 2 kills for himself. So if we look at other positions, mid lane, okay, there's still an advantage for CFO, but the enemy carries are scaling up. So BLG, yes, they are behind, and especially the 6 grubs are going to cost them dearly. But in terms of gold, it's not quite as bad as maybe the overall gold total makes you think. It's a 2k gold lead for CFO, but some of that is definitely on the more supportive card.
Yeah, there's about 1,000 on the top side. There's about 500. There's about 500 here or there across the map, but it's a huge investment into the top side. So everyone's going to get a little bit of plate gold, but on the other hand, mid lane and bot lane are just trading it back. So you're getting 1 tower's worth of plates.
That's all before 14 minutes. I think they should have... that's so many plates. They can't quite get the mid tower, it looks like. They have the 6 grubs though. Look at all the damage on the tower. 3 seconds left, so probably not able to secure the last plate, but still they should easily be able to get the tower. That was not worth it. That was really not worth it for the side of BLG. And they gave up 2 towers.
They might get another one. Where's the response?
Yeah, this is going.
They're gonna get a 3rd tower. This is. Okay, so this time CFO has just decided to run the map. BLG completely lacking, committing pretty much their entire team to the top lane tower to just break it. There was no dive. There was no objective on the top side. It's just baffling. And now with the heavy push in mid and bot lane, they've got the easy setup for this dragon. So even the dragon can't pick up a cloud and keep on trucking.
Yeah, this game looks very much in control of CFO, and they do have a late game teamfight composition that should be relatively easy to understand and execute. Easier to understand than execute, but still many options. They have multiple carries, they have very strong tanks in the front line, so this should be way harder to throw than game number 1, and even game number 1 BLG secured in the end. So I feel like CFO is looking likely to win this series and extend to game number 3, but let's see what BLG can do in the next few minutes to give themselves a chance.
Oh, good little dodge from the side of John Howe. They are going to secure the Rift Herald, and now the fight begins. And leaving the fight alone, they've gone straight on to Hermes, completely out of position, and now the fight begins again. Can they find Lamb on the other side? But no, it's just Lucius being left all to his own.
That's a big shutdown too, and it goes to the Jhin. Well, I guess it is throwable for CFO. That is a big swing for BLG, because that's another kill for Jhin, and they are going to have the pushing advantage in mid lane. If they secure the mid lane tower from full HP, that's another big advantage for them. I don't think they want to quite commit to that, so it's only 1 charge for the Rift Herald, about 1/3 of the HP of the mid lane tower, but still big kills over to the side of BLG, and suddenly the game is relatively close. They need to find a way to get Lamb back into the game because Jax needs money, but the Jhin at least is set up for success.
Yeah, he's gonna be, he's still in the mosquito build phase, so 2 items not gonna be doing a heck of a lot of damage just on his own quite yet, but he's rushing through them. He's getting close to that RFC. He's finished that shiv. He's feeling comfy with these extra kills under his belt. And I just don't know how they managed to fumble that so hard. CFO, Honkyu, Hasu just not even stepping up to fight Hermes, completely out of position.
Hermes? Where was Hermes? He has both summoners available and he just walked into the enemy team. I think he tunnel visioned onto something there. Maybe some call from the team. Maybe he got a little too heated, but definitely a huge misstep from Hermes. And yeah, it gives BLG another chance. Maybe close up the series in just 2 games. Yes, they're still behind. Yes, CFO still has a strong team fight and scaling composition, but it's not quite as clear an advantage as it was before this big fight.
And now they're just gotta sort of push up, try and find some angles to attack, I think, but it looks like when there's no objective, we're just gonna farm. As no one's looking to make any moves towards one of the side lanes right now. Everyone's just hanging out. There's a bit of an overload attempt perhaps to the top side from the side of BLG, but it still looks like it's gonna be matched. Hermes and Long Pei Fang all coming up.
Yeah, they really want to break this tower, but it's dangerous to dive underneath, and especially with the Orianna. Now it's on BLG.
Oh, Jax!
There to teleport the Jax from behind. Jax with 1 kill, that's a shot, and another kill for Jax. Suddenly he's back in the game, and Husha is way overextended. He is tanky, but not tanky enough to survive the onslaught of 4 people. That's a triple kill for Lamb, the worst possible outcome for CFO. Suddenly, the top lane hope for BLG that he put himself behind in the early game, but now he's back with a triple kill, and suddenly the game looks much better for the LDL side.
Also threatening the one before.
Looking for something.
He's pushing very aggressively.
Look at the Jhin damage. It's a bit pitiful, but nice ultimate, but he still gets stunned. This might have been a little bridge too far. That's another kill. CFO looks tilted to me, Marty.
Yeah, no, I think they're good because, like, chasing him off was fine, but once you get the Gnarl to survive the Jax Counter-Strike sort of situation, you just gotta run. And now, okay, they've caught Jax. This gives Hongkyun a chance to try and do some damage, but nope, can't get into position for an Emperor's Divide. I don't even think it's up. They get a tower. They
finally get the tower they pushed a long time for and overextended over and over again, but still the triple kill for the Jax and yet another kill for the Jhin are way bigger, or a way bigger deal I should say, than just the top lane tower falling. And yeah, the game is back to square, it's back to even, but it doesn't feel even. The momentum definitely in favor of BLG, with the Jax finally getting back into the game, and now the side lane pressure is gonna matter. Unfortunately, they don't have any grubs to their names, but still, if the Jax gets to 3-4 items, the Na is gonna have.
Oh, this is sneaky. They're gonna get spotted out now.
The last possible moment. Are they going to fight? The Smite fight is possible, and there's the Poppy. She's trying to get close enough. Nope, not quite able. The Junhao will have his chance. Oh, there's Hudson now. Junhao really needs to get over the wall. Beautifully done. Actually using his ultimate to get there. And there is a Jax on the backline. This is pure chaos in the apparent pit. What is happening?
The Baron goes to BLG. They didn't hit it for so long. They couldn't kill the Vi anyway. This is a mess. This is insane. This is not good. The complexion.
This is, I feel at home. This is some VCS action going on here. What in the world was happening there? CFO, they could have stepped away after spotting the enemy team. I mean, I see what they were trying to do, right? They have the Poppy, but nicely done from Junhao. I think Junhao played it almost perfectly there. He waited out the Poppy ultimate and walked away far enough from the Na, so the Na didn't actually have an easy ultimate into the wall either. So then he used his ult to swap places with the Poppy, who tried to stop him again. But the Jax on the other side was already wreaking havoc, so very much a desperation call from CFO, while on even gold, so that you can really feel that the players don't actually see the gold totals. They thought they're super far behind. There was no need for them to go for this play, and suddenly the game is completely out of their control.
And to be fair, I think Long Pei Fang kind of fumbled it by walking back into, like, walking towards the Baron to try and scare off Junhao. because it didn't allow the Baron a chance to reset. And then if you back off to the reset and then Junhao goes over the wall, then you can then he's in a position you can jump on him. But it's just it's now they're in a rough position. There's Baron on the side of BLG. BLG's starting to get damage onto their Jhin. They've already comfortably doing damage out of the Jax and Orianna. It's not. I'm failing to see the way back in as the Drake gets taken. I think CF it's gonna take a hero play from Hong Q or something.
Yeah, I mean, objectively, they're not actually super far behind. Like, 4k gold lead at 23 minutes with a full late game teamfight composition isn't impossible to come back from, but it doesn't feel great for them. They just lost like 12 kills in a row in the last 5 minutes, 7 minutes. So it must feel super desperate for them. We already saw the desperation of the Baron Pawn. Here's another one. That is a big Azir play. They get the shutdown. Azir gets the kill too, and now it's a full-on 4v5. Can they get a few more kills? Chasing down. Gets away.
Oh, it's a huge shockwave. It's gonna bring it down. Husha's gonna be left to walk away in shame, and Husa's got no hope. He's gonna get run down now as the plays for the split decision making from BLG, finding Hermes on the side from Xiaoshe, able to just cut them down.
A glow up from game number 1 to game number 2 for YXL. What an impressive game here. 5-0 and 11 on the Orianna. He's dealing massive amounts of damage. He's positioning correctly. He's never in danger of dying. And his ultimates, his Ws, everything to assist and his team, and also get huge plays on the enemy team. Actually, impressive performance on this mage. Maybe he's more of a mage player. Why are you going there? Well, that was a donation if I've ever seen one. That was a freebie.
That's the soft surrender if I've ever... Yeah. CFO has sort of done that twice just now. Just sort of run up the top lane chasing 4 members. At least before when ASCI did it, they were kind of low and had spent everything and weren't actually very strong in their items. Now they are. That's a dead puppy. Yeah, I think CFO's tilted.
They're most definitely tilted. I would like to listen in on what's going on in the comms.
I wouldn't, because I don't speak a word of Chinese and would just get overwhelmed.
It's really funny to listen to, I think. But yeah, Lamb, now he even wins the 1v1 matchup, and that is a dead little dinosaur. Probably. Maybe he actually gets away. He's trying to flash away, and here we go. I guess he gets away, but he has to do the ult and flash, so that should be another free. I guess there's no objective on the map, so they're just going to reset and establish even more vision control and wait for the next objective to spawn.
Maybe you get some chickens out of it. That's probably about all they can. That is all they can get. They've dealt so much to the south. They don't have the greatest siege in this, especially without Baron. Mostly because CFO just has excellent wave clear on their side, so there's still the chance they can stall it out if they get their heads together. 6k is certainly not the end of the world. It's certainly recoverable. But no, they just look lost. They don't really look like there's any direction coming out from the side of CFO. No plans to sort of try and catch someone out. No good wraparound flank opportunities. No aggressive, like they're trying to fight for vision in their own jungle around the red buff, but why? There's nothing there. You need only a little bit to make sure someone can farm, but you need to move that vision to the top side. If they're gonna start doing now,
Baron is spawning in 10 seconds, so CFO knows what's going on. They also know that BLG is going deeper and deeper into their top side jungle, so it's really difficult to fight back for vision, especially from this position. It's also not the Baron pick they would have hoped for, I think, of this game, because with all their with Na, you really want the helicopter or the airport Baron. But in the end, they have to go here. They have to fight for Baron, I think, in this situation. If they steal Baron, maybe there's a way back into this game. Giving up the Baron doesn't seem to be an option. And here's the engage.
You don't.
Big ultimate, that's one kill, that's a shutdown, and there's another good exploit on Lamb. Can they kill Lamb as well? He gets another Eon, and flashes on top. Oh, what a play from Lamb, he's out again. There's the Jin damage coming from the other side. Suddenly they turned around the fight again. CFO had a very, very good start to the fight, but they can't deal the damage. There's not enough DPS between the two carries yet, and that means BLG will find the Baron.
Yeah, Honky's getting in there, trying to do much, but Hermes is just not able to deal any of the damage. The lethality build is kind of one and done if you're this far behind. You can't step up, you can't contest. Maybe they're gonna try and steal away, like take away the dragon, get something back for themselves, but and with this Baron, with this weapon inhibitor, from what we've seen, this should be the end of the game coming shortly, provided no shenanigans.
Okay, Vi is trying to get close to the dragon. If CFO manages to catch up Vi and kill her around the dragon, that would buy them enough time to maybe wait out the Baron, kind of. So let's see. No, Vi's not even gonna risk it. The dragon doesn't really matter. They've already won the game in their books, and they should play it safely. Just use the Baron push and use their huge advantages. A second dragon for CFO really doesn't matter at this point. So nice discipline from Junhao. I think after his early game, which really didn't go his way, he has shown very good understanding of positioning and team fighting later on in the game. So good performance, good recovery from the jungler BLG's side.
Yeah, definitely a player that definitely showing the strength of a sort of mage player. Wants to farm all the whole first half of the game and kind of flubs the ganks, but team fight position, team fight knowledge, knows where to put his targeting down, and it's from there he's the ball delivery system. He has done his job. There he goes, another ball, another death.
That looked a little funky, but unfortunately the Poppy can't get the counter stun onto the Orianna. He finally flashed away. She is just playing such a safe game, so far behind her own lines that she usually isn't under much threat. Now a little bit low on HP, so if Hermes maybe finds a Q, there could be a play onto YXL. There's the Q. Okay, she's down to less than 1,000. So Husha doesn't have flash, unfortunately, so it's going to be hard to get on top of YXL.
Honky can find an angle, but no.
We know this. We've seen this before.
Oh god, the flashbacks are coming through. They don't feel or can't feel against the split pushes. That Siege Minion just dying means that they can't get the 3 inhibitor towers down. But BLG want the reset. They want to come back onto the map and keep pressuring, I suppose. There's still 3 minutes, still another major objective, so I think if you're BLG, from this point, there's not a lot you have to do. You're quite far ahead. I think you almost just try and set up a trap. Instead of trying to invade the blue buff so aggressively, you just sort of let the blue buff, let a jungle feel safe, sit in a bush or something. I don't know. Just do something.
Yeah. At this point, there's really very little they can do. I think the only thing they can really try to do is combine maybe some of the ultimates together to get on top of YXL at this point, who's the only member, apart from Lamb, but maybe Lamb's a little too tanky, but maybe one of the squishier members who doesn't have flash at this point, and there we go.
Just blast cone. Okay.
I guess that was intense.
I think he was always planning for the blast cone, but he's achieved the greatest thing he possibly could have done. Made them use two ultimates.
I really want to clip them. That was one of the most creative plays I've ever seen from a support player. Reminds me of one of the few collab plays in the past. But what in the world was that? Okay, now the Nexus turrets are getting pushed down. They have maybe one more fight in them, CFO, without their support, but honestly their support is owned 8, so I'm not sure if he's contributing anything. So there goes Husha. Husha's trying to find the angle. It's not easy when the enemy team can just basically come from one direction, because he's better if he's able to find maybe a flank or something, but front to back, not so easy to get on top of the backline. Here's the engage, once again, onto poor Paper. He just respawned. Come on, Duhar. That was unnecessary. But here's Husha. Wants to go in YXL. Oh, perfect. Level.
Oh, Honkyr! Able to flash out of the shockwave, gets the triple kill. He might be able to pick up a pepper. No, never mind. Hermes cuts it down. It's a quadra for Honkyr. How did BLG throw this? Did they throw this?
Can they? I don't think they can ever finish here. The death timers aren't long enough for that, but they might be able to push down the top inhibitor. They are fighting against double super minion waves, so I'm not even sure about that, but at least they get a huge chunk of gold from this tower. I think another tower should be possible. The inhibitor I'm not super sure about, but it looks like even the inhibitor is possible. And remember, they have 6 grubs. Somehow, they have the 6 grubs left. Can they try to finish? It's 10 seconds on Jin. They are going to make a play for it. CFO. Actually, it looks possible. CFO, it's getting closer and closer. 5 seconds on Jin. The Nexus is open. CFO might have just done it.
They've done it!
What is happening?
They did what Team Liquid could not. They won a fight in their base and they actually pushed to end.
I thought it was unthrowable at that point, but
P1 is here, by the way. Absolutely worthwhile pick.
Wow. Wow.
Whew.
Well, Honkyr redeemed himself there, I guess. He had a decent game before that, but he really made the big plays happen. Quadra kill for the Azir, and they pushed down the Nexus in one fell swoop. Against double super minions from all 3 waves. That's not easy to do. So, mighty impressive from CFO.
Yeah, now it's up to game 3. We're gonna see who actually gets to advance now. This is it, best of 1. It's all on the line.
The unknown
CFO.A. Should we show them how we do it every day? Let's get it. Kali that girl, Kali gon' girl, Kali gon' stop, Kali gon' skirt, Kali got a job, Kali got a word. 뜨거워 언제나 don't get burned. 넘쳐 흘러물 든 a rough it. 죽여주잖아 like a rough it. 누가 감히 on my outfit. 그 문 열지 마 that's a rough it. I'm giving you more cause I'm greater than. 필요 없는 시험들 다 뿐이미. But all of my numbers are talking babe. 부루마법 message monopoly. 눈종이 돈이나 real money 필요 없대. 너네들이 만든 돈들 go get it, go get it, go get it. 더 미션 눈을 못대 못해 그래 너도 get it cause I got it different. All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it, so here it goes. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it and never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind. Never giving less and that's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. When I go, it's for gold. Get it cool, but I'm cold. I don't fit in a mold. I'm a rebel. I don't do what you say. Making moves, I don't wait while I smile in your face. I got different DNA. What's higher than the top? That's me. Come take a look before falling on my feet. 조용히 몸을 숙여봐. So take a look, 나를 기억해요, queen. All I'll ever know is life upon the throne. 시작하면 끝을 보는 거야. You want more? No, I got it, so here it goes. You look like you could use some more. No, I got it and never running low. Yeah, I got more than enough, set it up and away. You know I got it like boom, boom, blow your mind. Never giving less and that's how it'll stay. You know I got it like all day, all the time. Way out，感觉犹如海浪的味道，不断往前，Oh you never way down. This is how I do it every day. Wow, wow，这一路上的奇迹都记住了你的每一个瞬间，无比的耀眼。I know you want some more，准备好就一起走，giving it all more. No, I got it, so here it goes.
And we're back with the last game of today's ASCI. This is a very important one. BLG and CFO are fighting for advancing to the playoffs, and we had some dramatic games. Honestly, BLG should have been through already, but they managed to somehow lose game number 2. Go back and watch the highlights of the last few minutes of that game if you want, because that was some incredible team fighting in all the ways you can imagine the word incredible. But yeah, we're straight into draft.
We're straight into draft. We're finally seeing the team swap sides, so this is going to be the first time CFO is on red in this series. I'm interested to see how it sort of plays out differently this time around. They've been highly prioritizing Honkyu's picks. Let's see if this time around BLG has the same sort of idea and wants to keep YXL comfortable. Bans look to be exactly the same across both teams. So, yeah. Waiting for those picks to come on through. What do you have for us, BLG? The Renekton looked pretty good. Looked really good for Lamb. Honestly, the Jax looked good for Lamb as well. I'm not sure where you go for, because I don't think anything is particularly must-have. Has shown itself as must-have this series.
I was very confused to see Smolder kind of just being ignored in game number 2. So, Zyra. Zyra was always banned in the prior games as well. So, Junhao now with the Zyra first pick opens up both Smolder and Azir. And we're looking at Kalista all of a sudden, which hasn't really been present in any way so far in the series. So, Maybe they just want to go a little bit more aggressive. Kalista has seen a lot of pairings with Senna in recent history, so could be a Kalista Senna. This also gives Maokai the opportunity to be flexed around, maybe, because Kalista Maokai is actually a pretty strong combo as well. So decent kind of flexible early draft options for the side of CFO. I'm still a little bit confused about the Kalista because so far CFO has been on the very defensive, very scaling side of things, so complete change around in terms of styles.
Yeah, I think you lost game 1 in a very close fashion. You were losing game 2 pretty heavily for a lot of it. I think just trying to completely change up the system makes a lot of sense. Don't think we're seeing a Vayne. The Renata lock-in as a denial pick. I'm not sure. It's a lot of hovers. You gotta pick something, boys. Do they want to take the Azir just as a takeaway? Nope. Draven, try and hit the hard bully situation. I think now, Senna probably makes the most sense as a support option.
Yeah, Senna's not bad against Draven because she slows him down. It's actually pretty hard for Draven to trade back, especially early on, because Senna kind of stays away and just has so much to deal with him. So, I wouldn't hate the Senna here. Let's see if they've planned for Maokai to go into bot lane, because, that's still an option. That's an
Either of those could be support.
Yeah, it's true. It could also be a Mumu support. I'm not entirely sure how Mumu support goes into Renata and Draven, but usually a very strong early game champion because of his strong trading, double Q, so much CC, so much damage. I think it's one of the highest base damage level 1 spells on the game, around 100 damage. So it could be something like that, early game trading. Yona band, which is a bit surprising, because YXL looked really good on mages, but let's see what they opt for. I would actually not mind seeing another Orianna, even though Orianna and Zyra together, it's a little overstacked on the magic side, but let's see what they want to go for.
Yeah, I think the Yone might be it's an AD mid laner, of course, but I think which pairs nicely with Zyra, but I think it might be indicating a little bit more of what CFO wants to pick for Honkyu. Just something that the Yone deals with, can jump on and kill quite comfortably. Maybe that's the Smolder again, maybe not Azir, but some kind of carry along those lines. The Zeri banned away once again.
That's mid lane Zeri then, of course, so
yes.
They might just...
Unless it's a mid lane Draven.
Of course, or a top lane Draven maybe. They might just R4 Smolder here and band away 2 of the harder matchups. I could imagine that happening. Maybe a Smolder ban would make sense here for BLG. So they kind of get rid of all the strong mid lane AD options and just go for a mage again, because YXL looks so much better on mages. It's another mid laner, but not the Smolder. So Smolder is really kind of... it's a game of chicken. Who's gonna pick the Smolder? Who commits to Smolder because he lost the first game? Instead, it looks like a blind cannon. Okay.
Fear of the blind cannon, personally. But you've got things like Nasus Bet and Hui being covered right now. Hui being locked in, presumably for Honkyu. That's quite an interesting one. What is the response coming out from BLG to that?
Ooh, that would be high. I still think a Smolder makes sense here, but...
I hope it's not Zed. I don't remember what he does.
Kill people.
Haven't seen him in so long.
It's true, but it's actually the Yasuo. Not a whole lot of setup, I guess. Okay, there's the setup. The Draven E is actually quite nice for Yasuo, I guess.
Draven E, you've got Zyra ult, sort of.
Yeah, but Zyra ult is not very reliable. People have to stay there for it to knock people up. So, yeah, I'm not sure about this Yasuo pick. Seems like they want to... Yeah, the Wind Wall gives a lot of value into Maokai ultimate, into a Mumu Q. I guess that's where their thinking was going, but I'm still a little confused about the Yasuo. Let's see how YXL pilots this very hit-and-miss champion.
And with the Udyr locked in, what does Hasu have in response to that? It's a tank you can sort of bully around if you want to. And it's going to be Camille looking to really jump in and make sure they can get on top of that Zyra. I don't necessarily. It's definitely not a matchup for the lane, this pick, but as it combines to the comp, I don't know. Is it good?
Once again, very different compositions. These teams don't really seem to have a style, like playing completely different compositions every single game. BLG's comp this time around looks a bit... I don't even know how to describe them. They have strong early game champions. I think they're mostly focused on early game with this composition. And then CFO, they have insane amounts of CC. Like, this is the highest amount of CC I've seen in a very long time, but not entirely sure if they can really execute this. So, interesting, intriguing draft from both teams, I'd say. Who's your favorite for game number 3?
I mean, over the course of the series, BLG has shown to be has sort of looked better.
Yeah.
And I think that I don't know. Does that comp make more sense? The comps are just I don't care about the comps actually. They're both weird. They're both kind of disasters, but from a meta standpoint. So, but BLG has just looked a lot more better, a lot more cohesive in team fights. Looks like they had a lot more awareness of the map. Not so much necessarily they played it better, they set up their waves perfectly or significantly better, but they were like, 2 people missing, we need to check Baron. Oh, they're taking Baron. And CFO kind of scrambles because they weren't expecting to be checked. They were like, hang on, we can just keep pushing down bot lane. And so they did that, and they ended up winning game 1 after that. So I think those sort of things, that sort of extra awareness, is going to be what brings BLG ahead, or it should be what brings BLG ahead. But this is a completely wild looking setup of champions. So let's see. I'll wait to see.
Yeah, it's probably the least predictable draft of these 3, because I feel like in game number 1, BLG had the much more cohesive early mid game draft. Game number 2 was very teamfight focused from both sides, and this third game, they've kind of mixed both games a bit, like teamfight elements on both sides, but then also early game domination. I think I'm definitely going BLG as well, just after seeing these 2 games, but also because I really don't trust the bot lane in this game, and CFO's bot lane, especially Hermes, has looked very sus. I mean, I say especially Hermes, but the support just ran it down for 9 deaths in the last game as well. So I really have problems with this aggressive bot lane, because when they play late game carries, maybe he can at least stack some items and be efficient later on. Effective, I should say. But on this playmaking bot lane, yeah, I'm not sure about this one.
I mean, looking at the two games, Hermes looked a lot better on the MF for sure, and I think he stays in that sort of position of auto-attacking. That's a skirmish early on already. The CC's going to come out very helpful for CFO here, and it's a wind wall start for YXL.
Oh god. Yeah, maybe not the greatest. He didn't actually prevent any of the Amumu Qs with the wind wall, so a bit unfortunate. But wind wall start into Wei. Maybe you can deal with Wei, just push the lane early on, use the wind wall to get rid of some of the spells and then get to level 2. I think it's probably okay in this matchup. But another early game fight,
I see.
Yet again, no one dies. I feel like these teams are really eager to find level 1, but it doesn't really pan out the way they want to. Now we go to the side where all the level 1 fights have happened so far. YXL. Okay, he's just gonna walk it off. There's the wind wall. Look at that. Amazing.
Fantastic. It sure blocked a Q. QQ in fact. I don't know any of the names for the players' abilities. I just know them as QQ, QW, EW, etc.
Yeah, I think that's easier for everyone. So that's fine. I'm still super disappointed at this champion, by the way. When I saw the concept of the champion, I was very excited. I imagined myself playing Magica in League, but instead the spells are so generic, and you kind of use the same things all the time. That's He technically has 9 abilities, but doesn't really.
My disappointment mostly comes from he's just a mopey sad boy and not a yordle with a giant paintbrush.
See, I don't care about that at all.
I know, but I would have liked to play a Yordle with a giant paintbrush. This game just needs more Yordles. That's my hot take.
Yordle's usually a really fun. So now he finally made it to level 2, and he still doesn't have Q. He's playing Yasuo without Q, and finally has his third ability. So now he can actually play the game, and YXL made it out of that early predicament. Okay.
Pretty much
And
completely
gets the
fine.
cannon.
He gets the cannon, he takes the big, decent trade, and now Junhao is hatching wards, so they are going to be able to cover this quite well. As we move to the top side, it's looking pretty much how you'd expect, as... Oh, they've caught Junhao.
Okay, Junhao secures the jungle cam. He does have his flash still. This might actually work out for him. He just walks it off.
Renata's up here
Lulu
too.
coming. Everyone is here.
So,
This is weird.
Honky down very low. Now put this down to extreme low. If Hunt,
Do you really want to go?
if they can get those in,
I'm not sure about this
no.
one. Plan pay fun, not again. And there's something happening in top lane, but we don't have time for that because the mid lane fight is still going, and that's another kill for BLG.
yeah, Longpei Feng just delivers the path for YXL to pick up Hong Q. Push is now sort of stuck in between two players, and it's just a 2 for 0 in that mid lane fight. Hasu able to win out the 1v1 on the top side though, so a little bit of something back for CFO. Able to keep the
How
fight
is that even
okay.
possible?
That's a good question. I assume a man's walked up and took a tower shot.
Yeah, I think that's probably the case, maybe even 2. I can't really imagine an early game fight going Camille's way without Ignite into level 4 Udyr. That's the trading is so bad into Udyr for Camille early on, so I don't really understand what happened there, but it's very good for Hasu. Even if he falls behind a bit in experience and CS, he now has the 300, maybe it was even 400, no, I think it was not First Blood, but at least 300 gold extra that he usually doesn't have in his economy in this lane, so he's gonna chill. He's gonna be able to just play defensively for the rest of the lane and scale nicely into his items.
It's an early Sheen, so he might be able to get a few quick trade harasses even a little bit easier. And across the map, we see just domination in the bot lane so far. It's looking pretty comfortable for this Draven. After both supports roamed away, and yeah,
This is how it happens.
no, this is just how it goes.
Yeah, you probably did something very similar there and somehow got turned aggro, maybe with an ultimate, unfortunately hitting the Camille or something. It's probably something silly like that, so the lane doesn't really change much. 300 gold is not enough to turn this matchup around, but it does give Camille quite a bit of leeway with how she plays the lane, because she now can rely on her early acceleration through the gold. Bot lane looks dominant so far for BLG, as you said, and they secure the first dragon. So everything once again going BLG's way in the early game. We have seen this before, twice before, but they only won one of the games, so it's definitely not over yet.
Not over yet. Quay still has a long way to go before he's actually kind of relevant. So it's just gonna have to sort of see how CFO can sort of stop what BLG wants to do. He's trying to get these grubs, at least try and take away 1 or 2 of them is a good start, but early
Level 6
rotations up.
for YXL. No easy way to get a knock up here. Zyra is not level 6 yet, so a little bit difficult. He has to do it himself, and Yasuos really don't like to do that, so maybe the team fight is called off. I think once Junhao actually hits level 6, there could be a little bit more action coming in the top side. They still just secure the first grab already, and they're still on it. This could be another big fight.
Pusha just leaves. Pusha just walked away. Didn't really have an angle in, so they're just giving that up all completely to Sai Junhao, and that's going to be quite kind of a problem. I'm worried we're going to see another sort of 6 grubs go the way of one team. No real contest. But
Actually, the 6 grubs last game maybe secure the game win, right? Because CFO had the 6 grubs, and without them, they might not have been able to chase to kill all those towers in time, because it was pretty close. It was like 3-4 seconds left on Jin. So in the end, the 6 grubs mattered, and BLG secures the first 3 without having to pay anything. They secured the dragon as well, so huge early game domination. They are getting all the objectives they want, and it's looking great for BLG so far.
Yeah, the lane assignments get going kind of okay. They managed to pit the Camille into the Yasuo, and that gave Camille a lot of leeway there. But it's just this Udi are able to just hit the tower over and over again. Lang Peifeng's gonna try, but Udi is just too fast.
Yeah,
too
Udi
fast,
is
he's
really
so
hard to
fast.
catch. I think he even had his double E available if push came to shove, so he can just walk out there with CC immunity. The lane swap is gonna favor CFO in terms of just being able to farm the lanes, because both top and bot lane were dominated by the other side. It is going to give BLG a little bit of time with the bot lane tower, but at 8 minutes, top lane tower is actually the same as bot lane tower, so very, very nice timing there from CFO. They waited for the grubs to disappear, and then already used the swap lane positioning to just extend the swap and give their 2 laners a little bit more of an easy time. The dragon is going to come up relatively shortly, probably in about a minute, I believe. So they probably have to swap back or give up another dragon, which they don't really want to do. But for now, it's nice for CFO's lane.
They just want to. I think they don't want to necessarily give up a dragon for free, but to do that, in that case, you probably would want to sort of try and move some of the pressure towards the top side and try and make sure you can go for a cross-map play. Although it looks like that Clam's gonna try and do his best, but now he's out of gas and it's time for Hermes on the chase down. It's spear stacking up. Can he get the pop?
Not sure if Hermes wins this if Lamb turns around. That was pretty close. Lamb has his ult available again, so I'm a little bit scared for Hermes if he overextends there. He does have the cleanse and flash though. So very interesting little 1v1 there, and actually going the way of Hermes. As there's a huge fight in the bot lane. That's not a kill for Draven. Draven wants the second, and there it is. 500 gold catch in. Foolish from CFO to just stand under the tower and fight, but in the end BLG with another huge win. And now look at the gold lead. That is up to 4k already.
Yeah, that's 1400 gold just in the AD carry position alone. It's like, this is looking already like it's a complete disaster. Like, oh man, you got hit by the Renata Q. There's only so much you can do about that. That feels bad, but then you try to hook shot in to the Draven. With the Renata standing next to him, insanity
This is
coming out from
almost
CFO.
perfect economy for Draven, because he got 100 stacks. Now it paid off into his first item. This gives him a lot of safety now to farm up the second time he gets a kill. Then if he gets another big payoff, then he's really accelerated by 1 or 2 items even. So this is a dream game for Baye.
Meanwhile, we're just seeing CFO continue this sort of... I don't know if they're doing this by design, but they're just keeping the Callista into the Udyr, and I don't think that's necessarily working out for you. They do manage to sneak... CFO does manage to sneak away 1 grub, so that's...
Oh, 2 actually!
Oh, how about... Good job, Honky. That's gonna deny pushing power a little bit. They're still gonna get 1. Still gonna grab a... Gonna still have Void Nits. But...
4 is really the important point, but of course they wanted 5, so not quite as strong as in the last game, where we had 6 grubs on one side. And I think in game number 1 as well, where BLG actually secured the 6, so this time it's only 4. Can they die? And Udyr, let's see. There's the engage. Udyr gets the huge shield, and Python has to go away. No, he's gonna die to the tower. Never mind, there's the Callista ult, nicely timed, but they can't kill the Udyr. He's too tanky.
He's so tanky. That's top lane tower down. That's top lane in. It's probably going down, because what can Hasi do about it? Not a hell of a lot. And with the 4 grubs, it's just even then, it's still a lot of tower pressure. Looking a little bit scary on that side there, but Dragon will be traded. Still a big win for BLG, but at least CFO getting something.
And Navi, don't you think this game is really confusing? Because last game, BLG had the victory in their side. They were so far ahead, and then they throw it all away in one team fight. And CFO comes back, they secure a game they should never have won. They go into the third game, and you think, momentum is clearly with CFO now. But the game just looks like the last 20 minutes of the last game. It looks like CFO is tilted, honestly. They're making so many missteps, they're making so many overforced and kind of clunky plays around the map, so don't really understand what's going on with this team. The mental seems a bit questionable.
Yeah, they're definitely not like. I think the sort of like their idea of how to assign the lanes is just completely messed up. They're not sure where to put anybody now that the outer towers have started falling down. They're just probably going to park. Both teams are probably going to park ADCs mid, which at least in some sense should help CFO out a bit because they don't have to think that much. Elton engaged.
CFO is in a little bit of a bad position, but there's Hermes. Hermes gets some stacks on Bai. He can't get the execution. Bai is still alive. Can he get the revive? No, not quite. No. That's a big shutdown to Honky.
Big shutdown onto for Honky rather. And there's also a kill back only onto the Amumu. It did cut down most of the good of Maokai. They're gonna be able to turn around and collapse onto Udio as well. So all in all, 2 for 1 for CFO, able to sort of transition their momentum from that first fight. They're gonna probably lose the spot lane tower as a result though, unless you have a teleport and you might be able to get down there, demolish probably not.
Yeah, it looks a little late now. So that's 1 tower and they killed the BLG, but 2 kills the CFO. So kind of even, and CFO does have Courage now outside by there. Going to see another good fight back. They're stabilizing the game a little bit. They also killed the Drake, so shutdown that was huge. Talent, but he's might die to him anyway. Yep, there we go.
At least just shut that down. Before that, now can they get out of the hole?
That's beautiful. That last Fire
is huge. Even better. They down. Can get away? Yes, can. But jeez, it was a nice group of 10 which was just not there. Stronger, and he's on, I guess, essentially 2 items. He's got one items. There we go. So like a 25 item, half an item. Gonna see how this position once again. So as we always give you a show, it's a lot of early pressure. They can shove the lane extremely fast, but then they don't exactly do a lot.
Yeah, I hate watching it's not very inspiring. He can still offer some tendencies and strategy to my fights. He's not that tactical, really digs on targets with beating more he's looking to chunk that damage and just by even closing enemy targets. He's annoying and hard to deal with. He doesn't really offer the engage power of some of the other top lane looking on or even Maokai there. So let's see how they can utilize it. He's not really in a position to dominate side lanes. That's something to do. And late in the game, definitely not the case here. So he's not going to be a low economy nuisance kind of champion. And rely on the mid carry. They didn't really bring home this game. So it's definitely outside back to be had here. It's only 3 goals now. And the next objective not really too much, I think. What's not a little more time to just get those items.
Yeah, and if they can try and put together some of these out there's an goal and drop the round now at this point. It's gotta get spotted out. Good away and from now, but break tower and then it would be makes me tough drop.
Nice to get engaged. Obviously, I'm trying to get away there. You really have to getting on top of Honky. You want to see there for a spot of back, but no one wants to do those there. So I think BLG has to bring things away. They want to fight. Here's the force so much about all this long range and AU damage. So I think they may find the solution. Honky get stronger.
They just get from long and well, we're going to just drop that character and now we only on 3 and then get called out themselves. So they don't lose, they're all going on, so they're going to have a good dragon. That's fine for them. It's not going to get into the world, next second dragon. And my time, get more wise from the carry time, get the communal on to reach they say where he can actually make one of that kind of threats. Just do not have the ability to step up and with they take down pretty quickly. So that's definitely no nice kind of plus it.
I would like to see a little more on maybe 4-1-0 play with ASCI being on the nice lane because as long as he's there, training a long face down nice lane, I don't think Honky can really get that. So there has to be the top lane and a little bit of an opportunity maybe attack or try to get on top of you. Now the left this is going to collect. He's getting stronger as well, so there's a little bit of an issue on for BLG because I don't think ASCI really has a chance against well-fed later on in the game. So in that second lane, their push power isn't really what they imagined to be in draft.
No, yeah, they can lock up. Yeah, they can lock the matchups to Yasuo, Neil, Udyr, and wait, it should come out pretty probably going to be a CFO, of course, along the lane and be able to play, but what we really need to do is the other way, and that's his job done, which we will follow up on and that's a goal there. And then oh my god, how do they really want to they get pushed in, they don't have great tough coverage because the house is down and even further outside. And that has great control. If you have this one in the top side of that in teleporting now,
those are high speed also too. So now from the other side there's something and they finally engage. A lot is happening right down. Flash damage, huge wins with though. They're trying to take the by you. Now flying back again. Use that flash damage. That's really key. Oh man, that's a lot of damage. The ultimate on the Renata push the back hit while I'm going to send it. Keep going back. That's a bit very far passion from the Draven. That's a little no reaching but other than that, good work. Sure, very nice engagement. You can see how hard it is for J3 find this kind of corridor. So much to see and so much overlaying area effect. CC actually, you think and then also Hermes is also kind of doubling down on this AoE. First it's a stun, and then they knock up, and then from the other side, Fletcher's ultimate, if to get the rat, Honky can also kind of consign you to a very late with this So it's very hard to find this kind of position for BLG. Once again, they haven't really cracked the enemy team competition. They're trying to run them a first, but it doesn't really work like that, especially when the disengaged champions like Zyra. So she doesn't provide a whole lot of assistance defensively. I feel like they really have to think about how they team fight yet.
Yeah, the team fight, the trying before they have a little bit of patience, I think. Waiting for the objectives. All you do is stand on front of them. Wait, stop them up. Hopefully, maybe CFO won't come into you. The CFO is, I mean, it's pretty good. Especially with the nature of but your disengage is so strong. How two best engage ultimate game with Zyra ultimate and the hostile takeover. I just gotta stand there and wait.
Reaching pressure, but I'm going on my 60 issue. Meantime, CFO back again. It's two last fight a long time now. 20 minutes, the game is back to pretty much easy.
So we've got being the focus. Is the team gonna send anything down to Dragon? Let's go. You can send it. Just Harry, but here we go. BLG taking the advice and starting up Harry. Wait, try and get CFO to walk into there. CFO quite a while away. They are not in position to that's properly. Take on him. Top hit. The ultimate. To go and win it, not slam back to the end. He and it's big fucking game on. It's a triple kill away. Oh, he's able to turn around. It doesn't look like he is. It's a he left very early.
Yeah, so this is a huge turnaround once again. I think BLG is gonna be so sad after the series if they indeed lose this game, which is looking more and more likely. Finally, CFO is in the gold lead. It took them so many kills, so many plays to finally get back there. But Honkyu, what a performance today. Another quarter kill for him, and he's 7-1-5. He's dominating this matchup.
Absolutely crushing it, and just absolutely well played from CFO, able to sort of lure them in. I really like the use from Hasu, not necessarily to lock down a target with his ultimatum, but just using it to split the pack, make sure BLG's fight is disoriented, pushing Lamb way further forward than he needed to be. He is the tank, so he managed to live a lot longer than if he'd knocked, say, Yasuo forward or Zyra forward, but it's still just so effective at disrupting them, allowing CFO to pick apart a piece of the comp. Not through the typical assassination way of Camille, but by just sending someone into the middle of the team where they don't want to be.
It does look quite hard to play the game for BLG now. They were already losing team fights from 5k gold up, and now they're actually behind, so not entirely sure what they're going to do. Udyr is essentially not in this game. He could just not be there. I think it wouldn't make a difference. He's just a meatball, but not even a very tanky one. So they have to find some huge combo with Zyra, Yasuo, maybe get on top of all 5 enemy champions. And even then, there's so much disengage, so much just CC, so much tankiness in the enemy team. The Yasuo can't really go in on its own.
You see him sitting on the top side, feeling like he wants to do what he did in the game one, but it's not going to work this time. There's the Baron buff, there's the Siege coming in onto his team. He can now strictly base race against this team right now. The Siege is just so strong. Oh, YXL has the cleanse from the Mikhails. Xiao Xiao will pay for his sins, and now
there's YXL. Can he do it? Can he do it?
Nope, no he cannot. It's another huge multi-man ultimate, but you had Hasso on the side, kicking down the door. keeping the rest at bay. And so now CFO are gonna just walk it in, pick up this inhibitor, pick up the second one, and then I think they back out. I think staying further than that would be a bit of a mistake.
This is the situation where everyone knows what to do. It's the easiest macro decision ever. You just walk top lane and kill the third inhibitor and win the game. So CFO now on a clear path to victory. This is the first game they've actually been ahead. So we can finally see how good CFO is from ahead, because it seems like they have a much clearer plan of what to do once they're in this position than their enemies today. Unfortunately, they lost almost all 3 early games, so it was a very dicey series for CFO, but now they're the clear favorites to make it through. BLG, I think they will have another chance with the last chance qualifier if they lose today, and they've showed much better stuff than the last time they played. But CFO, they can make the PCL proud in just a few minutes.
Yeah, absolutely gonna come in huge here. Hongq absolutely stepping up. Definitely, you think Gory is probably sweating over his contract renewal this year. So, especially with this kid on the bench, just behind him, finally eligible to play. He is so painfully young. So, how?
He turned 17 2 months ago. That is cursed. But he's one of the youngest pro players in the world, I believe. Because
right at this moment, yeah.
He can barely be any younger. So this is a huge talent. He's showing off. 8-1-6 again, another quarter kill. If he can finish the series on a pentakill, maybe that could make global news for all the scouts here. But another huge talent out of the PCL.
Just come. So as they knock down these last outer structures, Baron should be wearing off fairly soon. There it goes. And now they just need to sit back, head towards this next Dragon Pit, and once again try and wait for BLG to, I guess, try and engage, which is what they keep doing. And
can we get a quick objective timer, please? I know it looks a little ugly, but I would like to see what the time on the Baron is. There we go. It's 1 minute 20, so it's gonna come up soon, and it's very easy game path for CFO. They just have to group around Dragon, send their Camille into the bot lane maybe again, and yeah, that should be the easiest way to victory ever. And it's so hard for BLG to even enter the river, because they don't have the greatest engaged champions. They kind of just have to walk their Udyr in there, and he's gonna get abused. So I like this from CFO, playing it slowly, playing it cleanly, just advancing the vision line, just waiting for the enemy team to overstep, because they have to. They can't give up the Baron with 2 inhibitors down already. The last stand is approaching for BLG.
Yeah, they need to be a little bit careful. There's still a couple of wards in the depths of that blue side jungle. Hongq is walking over it right now. So if they push a little bit too much, there is a flank angle perhaps that the Yasuo could take. Or the Udyr, but is Camille ready to fight the Udyr? Even despite the advantage in items, still says, nah, I'm probably good. Actually, I don't think I do so well in that particular 1v1. But just able to move into the jungle, take away jungle camps, lurk around this side to prevent or delay any sort of dragon trade. But this Baron is just going to be started up, and he's going to be checked with the Whirling Death.
They are on the Baron, only 2 people, so they are losing a decent chunk of HP doing this. And here's BLG, they have to fight. They get on top of Hongq, this is the target, but he has flashed. There's such an easy way for him out of here. Hongq, now he's still under threat, and he's actually going very low. His team just focused on the Baron, but Hongq is still alive, and this should really be the end of the game. Oh, Zyra is trying her damnedest to get on top of Hongq. He's still alive, though, and he is the worst.
The insanity of the choice. The rest of CFO is just like, no, we're gonna finish Baron. Hongq, good luck. Hongq lives, and he somehow burns down Daya on the way. So that's it. That's Baron. That's 4-0, and that's CFO going forward.
Beautifully done. I actually think the macro they showed in the last 10 minutes of this game is quite impressive for an academy or a challenger team. So this is what we expected CFO to look like today. They had huge problems in the early game, but in the end it doesn't matter. They pull it out. They win 2-1 against BLG. and they make it through to the playoffs as the only team from the PCL. Actually, the only team from the PCL that even won a single game, and they make it through. They can still win the whole
Yeah.
thing.
They could. They'd have to. They have a long track ahead of them. They have the rest of today's winners.
But
They
they
have-
have Honkyu.
They do have Onkyu, but they have to go up against. I mean, not sure who they go up against at this point. We're gonna find out. There will be the last chance qualifier, I believe, tomorrow
on the
or the
14th,
14th.
right?
So, yeah, on the 14th. So in 2 days' time. So we're gonna find out which team joins them. It will be an LDL team because I assume that it's going to be out of BLG, Weibo, and Max. Gonna be fun. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and in the end, we have one LDL team already. We have 4 LCK or LCK Challenger Academy teams, and one now from the PCL. So it's always nice to see a little bit of diversity there still remaining. And I think with CFO on their best day, they might even be able to advance further into the tournament, not just make it through here, but also maybe win a round or two in the remaining bracket. We have to watch and see what's going to happen next week. But yeah, for today, that's it from this stream. We are very happy to be able to cover these matches. The insanity that happens in some of these games. I just want to remind you of the 62 kill game. Go back and watch that T1 Academy game because that was quite something to witness. 15 kills at 8 minutes, I believe. And we're going to be back with the last chance qualifier soon.
I think they knew what they were doing, getting the VCS idiots to be in charge of that. So, but yes, goodbye.